If you're an active social media user, you've probably seen this man all over the internet. His name is Andrew Tate III. He is British-American social media personality. He won several kickboxing championships throughout his career and retired undefeated. He later transitioned to entrepreneurship and became the founder of several successful businesses. He's seemingly come out of nowhere to become one of the most viral people on the internet. Let's dive deep into his story. Andrew was born in December 1, 1986. His African-American father, Andrew Tate, was a chess international master, and his mother worked as a catering assistant. He has a younger brother, Tristan. After his parents divorced, his mother brought both brothers to England. Tate started practicing boxing and other martial arts in 2005. He says he started competing in kickboxing rather than boxing or MMA, because that was the only gym close to his house. He would run 1 to 2 hours to the gym, train with his coach, and then run another 1 to 2 hours back to his house afterwards. Tate's decision paid off, as he became a 4 times kickboxing world champion and defeated many legendary kickboxers in the ring. Andrew Tate finished his kickboxing career with a record of 76 total victories and 9 total losses. And Tate came to public attention in 2016 when he appeared on the British reality show Big Brother during its 17th series.
I'm Andrew Tate, I'm 29 years old, and I'm a 4 times kickboxing world champion. I see myself as smarter than average. I was a chess champion from a very young age, from the age of 3. My biggest tool is that I'm not afraid of anything. I don't need the money, I don't want to be famous, I don't want any of that, so I'm going to be the most emotionally controlled person in the house.
He was removed from the show after 6 days, with producers citing a video apparently showing him hitting a woman with a belt. Tate and the woman said that they were friends and that the actions in the video were consensual. In 2017, Tate moved from the United Kingdom to Romania. This is what he said.
I think the Western world, there's something that very much angers me about the Western world. I don't feel comfortable here. I don't like the way it functions and operates. I think it's the most corrupt, disgusting, degraded societies on earth. There's nothing left besides money and corporate agenda. I like living in countries where, 1, there's some kind of moral fiber beyond the dollar, and 2, I like living in countries where corruption is accessible for everybody. So in Romania, where I happen to live, it's the most Christian country on earth. There's churches everywhere. People see a higher power beyond simply just money and government. They believe in God. This is another reason I like spending time in Dubai. It doesn't matter if it's Allah or God or whatever you want to call him. I like that. And also I like Eastern Europe as a whole because corruption's far more accessible.
Tate received attention for his tweets describing his view of what qualifies as sexual harassment, and for tweeting several statements about his view that sexual assault victims share responsibility for their assaults. In 2017, he was criticized for tweeting that depression isn't real. He became widely known in mid-2022 and was searched on Google more times than both Donald Trump and COVID-19. Tate managed to accumulate a large amount of affinity with the male population because he's echoing what many men think and feel. The White Ribbon Campaign, a non-profit organization opposing male-on-female violence, has called Tate's commentary extremely misogynistic and its possible long-term effects on his young male audience concerning. Hope Not Hate, an anti-extremism advocacy group, has commented that Tate's social media presence might present a dangerous slip road into the far right for his audience. In response to criticism, Tate stated that his content includes many videos praising women and mainly aims at teaching his audience to avoid toxic and low-value people as a whole. In 2021, 3 of Tate's Twitter accounts were suspended at different times. In August 2022, following an online campaign to deplatform him, Tate was permanently banned from Facebook and Instagram, losing 4.7 million followers. Parent company Meta claimed that he had violated their policy on dangerous organizations and individuals. TikTok also removed his account after determining that it violated their policies on content that attacks, threatens, incites violence against, or otherwise dehumanizes an individual or a group. Shortly thereafter, YouTube also suspended his channel, citing multiple violations, including hate speech and COVID-19 misinformation. In November 2022, after the acquisition of Twitter by Elon Musk, Tate's Twitter account was unbanned.
The Times recently reported that schools across the UK are in crisis as the effects of online influencer Andrew Tate's vile misogyny infiltrates our classrooms and society. Teachers are now having to develop their own resources to re-educate boys who are being brainwashed online by his deeply toxic messaging. The Prime Minister has been too slow to recognise this damage this is causing. What has he done? What is his government doing to tackle this misogyny, this incel culture and the radicalisation of young men in this country? And will he commit to giving teachers the resources that they need to address this problem head on?
Mr. Speaker, with regard to funding, we announced in the autumn statement £2 billion of extra funding for our schools. But I'm also proud that this government has introduced the world-leading, world-first online safety bill, which specifically improves protections for children and puts very strict obligations and penalties on tech companies for enforcing them.
In December 2022, Tate addressed the environmentalist Greta Thunberg in a tweet extolling his carbon-emitting automobiles and asked for her email address to give her more information. Thunberg replied with the fake email address smalldicenergy@getalife.com. The exchange received substantial attention on Twitter. On December 29, 2022, in the morning, the police arrested both Tate brothers and 2 women. All 4 are suspected of human trafficking and forming an organized crime group. Romanian authorities seized 29 assets, including 15 cars and more than 10 properties, as well as watches and sums of money that belonged to the Tate brothers. On January 25, while being taken for questioning at Romania's organized crime unit,
money, that is why I'm in jail. I have money that they were trying to steal.
Andrew, is the matrix exactly?
What happened in prison?
The case file is completely empty. Of course it's unjust. There's no justice in Romania, unfortunately.
Did you hurt any girl?
on March 14, Tate was denied bail for a 3rd time. On March 31, the Bucharest Court of Appeal overturned the lower court's decision and ended the Tate brothers' pre-trial detention, instead placing them into house arrest. They were detained and were in prison cell for about 93 days without any charges. During his house arrest, the Matrix has tried multiple attempts to destroy Andrew's reputation. Reporters like Matt Sheehan and Lucy Williams have begged him for a news interview. News channels like BBC and Vice have tried their best to destroy his reputation and produce fake stories against him. Andrew Tate recently gave an interview with Patrick Bet-David, which was highest watched video in his channel. He shared his experience when he was in prison.
I'll start by saying, and I have to make this clear, that the staff in the jail were exceptionally nice to me. They were very apologetic. The vibe was apologetic. Nobody was really treating me like a criminal. There were a few guys who were icy cold, I guess you could call them. They like to think of themselves as professional, but they were just inhuman. But over time, they warmed up, and I was exceptionally nice also to all the staff. Jail, I'm going to start by saying jail was terrible, and I was miserable inside of the jail cell. It's a good thing depression isn't real, because I would have been depressed. But I think in life that you get what you give, and I wanted to feel happier, so I tried my very best to make people happy. So when the old lady would bring me my food, I would sit and say, oh, this is the best food I've ever had. I've never had food this good. Did you cook this? I thought yesterday was the best, but you managed to surpass it again. How'd you do it? What's the magic ingredient? And I ended up making friends with them. Like I had grandmas in there, the old ladies cooking the food. And by trying to make people happy and smile all the time, I started to feel a lot happier. But it's kind of scary. And I think the scariest thing about jail was the uncertainty of it all. If they would have said to me, you're in jail for 92 days, or even 5 years, you got 5 years, cool, I do my time. But when you're nabbed and thrown in a cell without charge, you're like, well, how long, is this my life? Is this it now? Is this the end of the story? I'm just in this cell. And I was picked up on 29th of December, I went through this quick court case. Like I said, I'm inside of the jurisdiction of Romania, so I have to be very careful with what I say because the case is ongoing and we're in Romania and I can't leave Romania. But obviously Romanian court is in Romanian by law. So you're marched into this room, everyone speaks a language you don't understand for 15 minutes, and then you're marched off to jail. Look, what even happened? What even happened to me? And they said, oh, here's the paper that explains it. I was like, that's in Romanian. And they said, oh, don't worry, you'll get a translation to English by law. I was like, okay, that's fine. But because I was picked up on the 29th of December and there was New Year's Eve and holidays, it was 2 weeks before I even knew why I was in jail. 2 solid weeks I'm in jail. No one told me in English why I'm in jail. So they said, oh yeah, human trafficking. I'm like, what do you mean human trafficking? Who? When? What? What is this? Took 2 weeks before I finally got a piece of paper, and then I realized what garbage it truly was. I mean, I knew it was garbage, but I was like, this is complete garbage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have endless stories from jail. It was certainly. I don't think jail teaches you much new. What it does is confirm everything you already know. It confirms everything you know about the reality of the outside world, that you need to be physically strong so that you're not attacked by others, and mentally strong so you're not attacked by yourself. You learn who's on your side and who isn't. You learn who's a coward and who's not. You learn who's an opportunist and who isn't. Your circle, you certainly learn a lot about the people around you when you go to a jail cell, that's for sure.
After months of investigation, DICOT has finally charged the Tate brothers, nearly 7 months after their arrest. However, the case seems to be empty according to Andrew.
Thank you to all the supporters we have around the world, regardless of what the mainstream media keeps saying and the lies they try and report. We get tens of thousands of messages from people every single day supporting us, and they understand that we're not the first affluent, wealthy men who have been unfairly attacked. In our situation, unfortunately, it happens quite often. So I want to thank the whole world for all the support we get. I also want to give a very special thanks to Romania and the Romanian people. The number of Romanian people who send me messages of support is absolutely fantastic. This is my home. I love this country. I'm going to stay here regardless, no matter what. And I look forward to being found innocent at the end of everything. So thank you all very much. And I'll speak again soon. Thank you.
Last time.